Here we go. We are live. Antoine Anonymous meeting on a Friday night. I'm late, but better late than never, as they say. And yeah, it just slipped my mind. I just with the baby and stuff, I was like, oh shit, I'm late. But anyway, this podcast, this live broadcast, this live stream is sponsored by Jack Factory. If you want some of the best supplements on the market, and the thing is with the supplement companies, you gotta find one that's high quality and that's been there for a long time. And Jack Factory has been there for 10 years already. The 10-year anniversary is actually today. So happy birthday, Jack Factory. It's because of companies like that I can make a living and make these nice live streams and do this type of stuff. And I'm really grateful for my life now, a life clean. And I would never have this life if it wasn't for me making the best decision of my life 4 years ago to get into rehab again, which I knew I was going to end up there, honestly, but I kept procrastinating because, as an addict, I am a good procrastinator, especially when it's time to stop partying. I never ever stop when I said I would. So here we are. And the crazy thing is, it's May 16th. So in Hi Husansi from Denmark. I'm good. So we are the 16th of May. So in 4 days, so in 12 days, I'm going to be 4 years clean. 4 years clean from drugs and alcohol. So that is pretty cool. So how's it going in Denmark, Husan? Husamsi, do you know anybody that suffers from addiction? Do you yourself suffer from some type of addiction? It doesn't have to be drugs. I was drugs and substances that altered the way I perceived life, the way I felt. But sometimes people have like a Netflix addiction, video games addiction, gambling addiction. It seems like our brains love. Hey, Amal Dillon, shout out to Amal, 31 days sober from alcohol and drugs. Dude, that's amazing. You have a food addiction too? I know. The thing that people don't understand is sugar will really spike the dopamine receptors too. Like my wife now just ordered some the Dubai chocolate. She's about to shoot some dopamine into her brain eating that chocolate. But she's oh, look at this. Holy shit. What is that? Holy shit. Look at this thing. That's a drug right there. See how thick it is? That's thick. It's thick. See, Amal Dillon? This is something you need to avoid. This is like a crack here. All right, let me know how it is. But she controls herself with sweets at least. I have a feeling that if I would start eating chocolate, the rest of my night would be try to get how can I feel that again in my mouth without ruining my physique and feeling guilty. Tina says hi, by the way. She says hi, Tina. Yeah. Oh, Tina, I just got on right now. I'm actually late also. Final Destination. There's another Final Destination? How many movies are there of that? But anyway, shout out to Amal Dillon, 31 days sober. Shout out to Tina. Tina, you got some days under your belt too. A little bit of days. And Amal said he just had half a chocolate bar. A little late. It's okay. I know that for me, once I started, it's kind of hard to stop. So I hear you. I hear you. This is crazy. This is on right now. Yeah, Darren. Every Friday at around 9:30. Usually, now it's 10 p.m., but I didn't want to miss it. 26 days for Tina. Shout out to Tina. 26 days. And she changed her nickname from She Killed Kenny to She Loved Kenny, which is a sign in itself that you're changing, becoming a, I don't know, responsible human in society. But yeah, I'm going to get 4 years in 12 days. And it didn't. And the thing is, people say, "Oh, wow, seems impossible or whatever." But if you go one day at a time, let's see, like today. Today I woke up at 7 a.m. So if we go day by day, I've been clean since 7 a.m. So if any of you guys didn't do any drugs or alcohol and woke up like a minute earlier than me, you've been clean longer than me today. When you think about it, right? Because it's a daily program. Because personally, for me, if I thought like, especially at the beginning, it freaked me out. I remember I was in rehab and I had to stop my drug of choice. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, my drug of choice, that's the one that's ruining my life, right? I feel like I'm at any meeting loaded. I feel like I'm at any meeting loaded. Dude, Darren, um, this is a unofficial meeting. This is Antoine Anonymous. See, I'm going to show you the thing again. See that? Antoine Anonymous. So it's not really a real 12-step meeting. And in the 12-step meetings, the only prerequisite to being a member of these meetings is the desire to stop using drugs and alcohol. So even if you arrive high, but you have a desire to stop, you are welcome to the 12-step meetings. And this is Antoine Anonymous. This is like unofficial. So even if you're fucked up and you just want to learn more about addiction, that's the right place to be. So Darren, if you have any questions, if you want to share some stuff in the, because your name is Darren, I see there's a selfie of you or your physique or something, but we don't know who you are. So it's pretty much anonymous for you also, right? I'm the only one that's not anonymous here. But if you have any questions, you want to get stuff off your chest in the chat, any of you guys, feel free to do so. If you have any questions, this is why I'm doing this. I'm doing just to, not to get views, not to do anything like that. It's just to help you guys, guys and girls, so we can all share our story, of strength and hope, recovery, rock bottoms, because we need rock bottoms to, I needed rock bottoms to just change. If everything went well while I was doing drugs, I'd still be doing drugs. But that wasn't the case for me. That's for sure. So Kale Simmons is saying, Antoine, I have a brain injury and I've been really struggling lately with substance abuse. Yeah, that sucks. I don't know what kind of injury you have, but a lot of time we are suffering, right? So you are suffering from your brain injury. I was suffering more, I guess, emotionally. I felt I was like worthless. So that was my suffering. And I didn't want to suffer like that subconsciously. So when I found drugs, I was like, oh my God, this feels awesome. I feel good. Finally, a relief. So the first time I went to a rave, I was 20 years old. Because I did stuff before that. But I was like, yeah, okay, I it's fine. It's fun, I guess. But I didn't really have fun with like drinking and whatever, doing lines, shit like that. I didn't like that. It was fine, but I didn't like it that much. I did it because it was the extreme thing to do. But when I found like raves and pills and this and that, then I was like, wow. This is like, wow, so life, with the raves and these pills, life is fucking awesome. That's why I thought, like, this is great. This is the first time in my life I'm like, I felt relieved. And I felt like I could be myself and all that stuff, right? So what do you think I did? I kind of self-medicated. I had a problem, and then I found drugs that did a quick solution for me. But then when they wear off, you're back worse than you were. And then you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to go to do that again, right? And then I would do it once a month. And then it would start to be once a month, but just like for a day and a half or two. And then I would do it every 3 weeks. So whatever your suffering is, sometimes we're going to give ourselves, that's the excuse we're going to use to, abuse substances. So it's very normal. You're not alone, like Carol Simmons. I mean, the brain injury, I don't know what it is, but sometimes people with brain injuries, like, they're more impulsive. I don't know if it's your case or not. I'm impulsive. I was really impulsive before when I was younger. Now I'm still impulsive, but now I learned to just pause and think first, which is hard to do when you're emotional, honestly. But my emotions are pretty stable. There's nothing really triggering me, like My wife, I have the best relationship. I used to have like toxic relationships, and that would trigger me. I would get pissed off. She did me wrong. I'm angry. So if she did me wrong and I'm angry and I'm hurt, I must be right. And then fuck them. I'm gonna do drugs. It's like fuck. It's like fuck the world. I'm gonna do drugs. It's like I'm fucking myself. I'm not fucking the world. I'm fucking myself here. So I get it, Kale Simmons. I get it. You know, you're suffering, and then the drugs are there, and then you just use them because it's like an instant relief. But the thing is, for me, is that I had to keep doing that over and over again. And at some point, I don't think I was even making the decision. Like, yes, I was, obviously. But I ended up there. I ended up addicted. So once I was addicted, it kind of wasn't my fault anymore. Because my brain is like wired like that. You know, I started doing drugs. Some people are like, oh, I feel good right now. I'm going to stop. This was great. And, but me, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. This is great. I want more. I want to feel even better. So I want to, you know, I want everybody else to feel this way too. And I want to have crazy parties and yeah, I'm not going to talk about what I did on drugs too much because this is, I don't know, it's rated R. Kids could YouTube this podcast, this live stream and watch it. So I'm not going to talk about all kinds of weird shit here. I'm just going to talk about, you know, where drugs can lead me and how I got out of it, you know, and also show support to you guys. But you guys can say anything. Honestly, I can't control the chat, right? So if you feel like you got to share something, go ahead, you know. Hearing say my name after being a fan for over a decade as well. Thanks for doing this. No problem, Kale. No problem, you know. So I think today what I could do, and I'll just stop whenever you guys have questions regarding addiction. So there's this daily reflections book here called an NA. It's called Just for Today. And there's a free app. See that? Oh, there it is. Free app like that. And this free app, I think if you type Narcotics Anonymous, there's an app that looks like this. The Just for Today is like, it's all free. The cool thing with NA is that you go there, it's free, right? So there's like free online meetings, like real ones. This is not the real one. But you can actually find a list of like Zoom meetings. So if you don't want to go in person, you're too shy, whatever. Some people like that to do the Zoom meetings first, or just do those all whatsoever, and it helps them, especially during COVID. During COVID, some of the meetings were banned. They were like just canceled. Like that was crazy, right? Because drugs kill way more people than a cold. You think about it, right? Anyway, so Just for Today's a daily reflections, and every day there's like a text. So May 16. Oh God, this is gonna be a higher powers will. Here we go. The G words coming up, guys. God's will for us becomes our own true will for ourselves. Basic text, page 48. The 12 steps are a path to spiritual awakening. This awakening takes the form of a developing relationship with a loving higher power. Each succeeding step strengthens that relationship. As we continue toward the steps, the relationship grows, becoming ever more important in our lives. So I'm going to stop every paragraph so it doesn't feel like I'm reading a text and you guys just like tune out. But pretty much like when it says here, God's will become our own true will. What do you mean? Like God's will, we become, you know, what about my will? Well, personally for me, my will, what I wanted to do was do drugs, party, and be with girls and, you know, go crazy. So that's what I wanted to do. That was my will. And where did that lead me? Homeless, in rehab, numerous times. So what they say, like we all know what is the right thing to do in our heart. Like I just didn't care. When I was in active addiction, I didn't care. I knew it was wrong, but I was like, let's do it anyway. Just this one time. I'm not hurting anyone, whatever, right? But now if you switch, like people like Christians do that easily. They're like, what would Jesus do? They even have like the acronym, WWJD or something, right? What would Jesus do? They use that. But you can use like, what does God want me to do? Like let's say, what would Mother Teresa do? What would Superman do when he's not like evil Superman? you can say things like that. And let's say if you, it's funny because one time I really noticed I was like thinking like that more than before. I would throw like a drink of Red Bull, whatever, then a can, I threw it in the trash. They would fall on the ground. Then I kept walking 3 steps, and I'm like, that's not the right thing to do. I would turn around, take the trash, and put it back in the garbage. But now, what would happen is that every time I would see trash on the ground, I would feel that pull of like doing the right thing and putting it in the trash. So that's God's will. It could be as simple as that. Let's say like if somebody like your brother says something mean to you and like really pisses you off, and then what's the right thing to do here? Do I just yell at him back, or do I just like take a moment and just like, you need to have your boundaries and say how you feel, but the right thing to do is not to react and escalate things, right? So you can apply that. This is what for me, like what it means God's will is that like there's 2 choices in your heart you can do, and your heart knows the right one. This is the one you need to choose. But here they say that in the meetings, in the steps, you kind of use the higher power to make the right decisions, and then they want you to develop a relationship with it, which is like a lot of people, like when they hear God, they think about like the Christian God, whatever religion. But the thing is, it's like you can't really explain what God is. So let's say if you put another word instead of God, and that's the word you would use for the higher power. Some people like God, good orderly direction. It's like the direction of like the good decisions in your life. This is where it goes. This is what God is. But the thing is, you could switch the word God for another word, and then use that. But that's what the word God is anyway. They used these 3 letters and slapped it on this thing that was like, oh, we're gonna explain the almighty universe. That's everywhere at the same time. We're all one. This is God, whatever. They put this 3-letter word to explain that. This is what the word God is. It's not like Jesus. It's not like, even like in the Muslim community, Allah means God. So the Christian God is Allah too. It's in Arabic, it would be called Allah. Anyway, the thing is, like, if you don't understand, if you're not a religious person, you don't even have to be. This is like your own, because they say here of your own understanding. I don't know if it says it somewhere. It says it across the readings all the time. It's a God of your own understanding. So let's say you, K.L. Simmons, your God is like, could be your higher power could be your late grandmother who passed away or something. And like you pray to her and she helps you out. It could be that. There's no rules of like what your higher power can be. All these religions are just like somebody else's spiritual journey that are given to you for you to get inspired or follow if you like it. If you don't like it, you can have just your own. I don't even know what mine is. I can't put a word on it, except I'll just use their word, I guess, God, because there's already one that explains something that's not explainable. And if you ask anybody to explain what God is, if they have a definite answer, they'll say, yeah, God is this. They don't know God. Anybody who knows God don't know what it is. It's just like it's a thing. It's a feeling, But anyway, I'm going to keep going with this. In the course of working the steps, we make a personal decision to allow a loving higher power to direct us. So they use the higher power for guidance. And the guidance is always available because it's like there all the time. You can just pray at any time, right? We need only the patience to seek it. The patience. So you have to sometimes wait and then pray. It takes patience to pray because in a fast-paced world, am I going to really go on my knees and pray when shit's going down, in my car, when people are cutting me off? It's like, so you need to take a moment and you need some patience for that. It can just be like a meditation too. People say meditation is you listen to God and praying is that you talk to God. Often that guidance manifests itself in the inner wisdom we call our conscience. This is like one of the most abstract freaking daily reflections in this. So we're doing it. We're doing it today though. Chris Banks, next week, 3 months sober. That's awesome. Congratulations. what is this person's username? I'm here to support you. Yeah, but I'm doing good, man. I'm reading stuff to you guys here and talking about it. I feel good. Let's do the other paragraph here. When we open our hearts wide enough to sense our higher power's guidance, we feel a calm serenity. So when you allow that guidance to come inside of you, this peace is the beacon that guides us through our troubled feelings, providing clear direction when our minds are busy and confused. That's important, right? So like when you're busy, confused in the fast-paced world, you can pause and then think about the right thing to do and pray for the right thing to do, and you will hear the answer most of the time. Anybody can hear the answer. If you have a problem and shit's going down, if you just like separate yourself, like get out of the room or something, or put your phone down, close your eyes and just like breathe, and then you're like, what's the right thing to do here? You calm yourself down. You ask yourself, what's the right thing to do? And you can even say like, God, what do I need to do? And then you just pause. You stop thinking and you start listening. There's an answer that's going to come. That might be your higher power. Your conscience, like they said, right? It's like the conscience is maybe the manifestation of God within you. Who knows? We find the contentment and joy that often elude us when we strike out on our own. I'll read that again. When we seek and follow God's will in our lives, we find the contentment and joy that often elude us when we strike out on our own. I think that means when we do our own will, we don't feel the joy and contentment of like God's will in our life. Fear or doubt may plague us when we attempt to carry out our higher power's will, but we've learned to trust the moment of clarity. Our greatest happiness lies in following the will of a loving God. So pretty much sometimes doing the right thing is scary. It's never the thing we need to do sometimes. It's always the thing we're scared to do and we don't want to do. And the things we want to do is the thing that's not good for us. And that's kind of easy to gravitate towards that. It was way easier for me to like do drugs than to live life without it. It's like living life as is and on life's terms was too scary for me. I had to like modify my perception and, live life the way I want it. I want to feel this way, living this life the way I want. But that's a lie. It was a lie I told myself because I didn't end up where I wanted. I was homeless. But yeah. And then at the end of each Just for Today, there's a kind of like a recap of the whole text here. Just for today, it's like a thing you tell yourself. Just for today, I will seek to strengthen my relationship with my higher power. I know from experience that knowledge of my higher power's will provides a sense of clarity, direction, and peace. So, by developing a relationship with your higher power, not mine, not somebody else's, not the church's, yours. By doing that, you will get a sense of clarity, direction, and peace. But the cool thing is that it's your own. You don't even have to explain it to anyone. It's your own. It can be another one. It can be like the Christians, God, whatever, modified to your own liking. You can take values from one. You can be a Buddhist, and then you can add like some of the Christian values to it. You can do whatever you want. This is your own tool to get clean. They told me that in rehab. Oh, your higher power is another tool you're going to use, probably one of the main tools you're going to use to stay clean and recover. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, if it's my tool, like if I buy a hammer at the store, it's my hammer. I can write my name on it. I can like do a little nice wrap on it. I can like paint it in different colors. It's my hammer. It's my tool. Well, your higher power is your own tool. Use it the way you want. And if you allow it to come into your life, it will help you make the good decisions. Because honestly, you already know the good decisions, right? But maybe your higher power, maybe that moment of peace and meditation you will take, that little break you will take, your higher power will just say, hey, this is it. Because we have all the answers in our mind, right? In our consciousness, we have all the answers. Even the bad ones, All of them. The bad ones, the good ones. I used to take always the bad ones because they're the one who gave me an instant thrill. You know what I mean? So this is what I got from this just for today. And I recommend if any of you guys feel like you're losing control or lost control in the past, if you're an addict in recovery, or if you feel you're addicted to something, you don't even have to tell anyone right now, right? We're in between each other. Just me, you guys, and the whole world, I guess, that could watch this. But there's some type of anonymity behind this. You could get this Just for Today app from the Narcotics Anonymous app and do the Just for Today. Or I think you probably can ask ChatGPT, hey, what's the Just for today from the NA? And they're going to do the text. They'll find it because it's free. So I'm going to read some comments now by IIYYXXNN. I'm about a week away from cannabis still. I have it in the house trying to stay strong. I can't stop once I start because of physical pain. I have to save it for it when I really need it. That's kind of touchy, right? It's like when you have a prescription or something and you have to use it only when you're in pain. But like, how much pain is too much pain for you? Like, and how much pain is like enough for you to endure without anything? This is where you can use your higher power. You're like, okay, do I really need this right now? Or I'm just trying to convince myself and I want to feel something, right? And you actually said God helps a lot, but unfortunately it's been tied so universally to religion. Yeah, but the thing is, religion talks about God, but God is it's its own thing. It's like, try to find another example. If I'm going to read a book about the ocean, and it's a pirate book, Pirates of the Caribbean. There's the ocean and the vast ocean in the movies. But Pirates of the Caribbean, they don't own the ocean. The ocean belongs to everyone, right? Belongs to the planet, the whole world. So in the Bible, yeah, they mention God, but they don't own God. Nobody owns God. God is like in you. Nobody can own that term, right? So I understand it's tied to religion because the first time we heard about it, honestly, for me, is like it was about in Catholic religion, right? I'm baptized, all that stuff. So I was hearing God in the church. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And then I became atheist. Became atheist after that. And then I became agnostic, I guess. I didn't know. And now I know now, but I can't explain it. But I know there's something. But my brain is not capable of understanding the vastness of it because my brain was created in this material world with my five senses, that can only perceive the things that are like useful to me to survive 10,000 years ago. But God is like in another dimension and our own at the same time. That's what I believe. Chris Banks says, God, recovery groups, and my support system is how I made it this far. That's awesome. Yeah, recovery groups, you know what? That's a power higher than yourself. It's not you, right? The group is another, can be your higher power. Even like God, I've heard that term before. I always thought it was funny, like in AA. If you're an atheist, God could be group of drunks, the people in the meeting. And in NA, it could be group of druggies. So your NA group can be your higher power, because that's the group of druggies. I thought the acronym was pretty funny for the atheists. It can work for them also. It doesn't have to be some mystical creature or some abstract thing. It can be something very methodical if that's how you think. But it can't be you. It can be something that goes away, right? The rebound, once I start, makes it hard. Maybe you guys are talking about some stuff with using. Darren says, I can only talk for myself, but the pain was never that bad, even if it lasts 6 months. Been using that excuse for needing my pills. Yeah, and also, if you're talking about opiates, there's also a physical addiction. A lot of people in rehab that I met, they keep using because they just don't want to be sick anymore, right? Because if you stop using the pills, you're going to start feeling the fever. You're going to start feeling all the pain, even emotional pain. Because opiates don't just numb the physical pain. They numb emotional pain also. Then what happens when you run out? You feel like hell. I never went through this because that wasn't my drug of choice. But you get physically addicted to opiates really bad, and it's like one of the worst feelings in the world. You know, you don't really die from opiates withdrawal, but you will feel like you are dying every second for like weeks for some people. Oh, you so cannabis, yeah, cannabis. You'll have some withdrawals too. It's just different. Yeah, but yeah, man. Well, I'm glad some of you guys are showing up, and you are, you know, racking up some days clean. That's awesome. Is there for those who are in recovery and trying to stay off the substances? What's the moment that you feel the most triggered? Like, when does it get really hard for you guys? You know, is it like when your girlfriend or boyfriend does something really annoying and like just leaves, and you feel like betrayed, you feel abandoned, and you feel alone, or you just like you're driving down, you have some good music and playing your car. It's summer is out, and people are like, you know, on the patios, and the girls, you know, there's more skin showing. They're short skirts and shorts and boobies, and you're like getting riled up, and you get triggered. You want to have a beer with these girls, but then you know how it's going to end up. You'll be by yourself doing drugs and looking for somebody to hang out with that will never come. Speaking from experience. Vladimir Rogova. Bills and obligations to family. Life stress. I feel I need Xanax and Adderall and alcohol to keep moving. Hey, I get it. You know, it's like a lot of pressure, right? It's like we feel like we have all these responsibilities, and then it's like we never catch a break. And some people will use Xanax to just shut the brain off in the evening to just get a night of sleep. And then all you're thinking about, or maybe not even the evening, maybe during the day. And then in the morning, just to get going, you need the stims. And then the alcohol comes in, you know, sometimes it's a social thing, but there's always an excuse to get a beer out if you're an alcoholic or whatever, right? I'm not saying you are one. But I get it. Just life in general, because life stress, you know, that's one of the main triggers for everyone. Life. Because for me, I couldn't handle life. I said it earlier. I don't know if you were there or not, but I did drugs because I couldn't handle life on life's terms. The way life was, I didn't like it. I wanted to be high. And then I would live that life high and the way I wanted, because I couldn't handle real life. Too painful for me. You know, and then the more I did drugs, the more I had consequences. So now when I wasn't on drugs, life was worse. And I couldn't handle the other life that was not as bad as now. So what do you think I can handle this now? So I just always went back to drugs. And then at some point I just lost everything. And then, you know, the reason why I clean is because I would have really bad consequences. And then I would like, okay, now I gotta fucking stop. And then I would try by myself for years. Didn't work. Right? So I had people around me that said, you got to go to rehab. And I was thankfully open-minded enough to do it. And then I would always find excuses, but my work, the sponsors, bodybuilding, this and that. Guess what? I lost all these things I lost all these things later on because I kept going back to drugs. And the thing is, when I came out of rehab and I got clean, all this shit was there. Work was still there. Bodybuilding was still there. All this shit was still there. There will always be a life after drugs. It's just in my addict's mind, I couldn't stop. I couldn't like put my life on hold to go to rehab. But I was willing to do drugs all day. You know what I mean? I was kind of crazy. There's an insanity part of active addiction. That's for sure. And then Chris Banks says, it gets hard when I forget what I'm staying sober for. Also when I'm angry about something. Oh, Chris, most of my relapses that I had clean time and I relapsed, I was really hurt and pissed off about a girl or something. And then I was like, fuck the world. I had a case of the fuck it's. You know, a big case of it, 12-pack of the fuck it's. I was like, fuck it. I'm done. And I would just go and do drugs, and it's like my way of fighting back, being angry. I was like, "Ugh, fuck it, I'll show them." And then I did drugs, and I mean shit's worse for myself. You know what I mean? So I get it. You know, when I'm really mad, it's like as soon as I would get really really angry, my IQ would would be go from 100% to 25%, and I would become really impulsive. I didn't give a fuck. It's like I couldn't think or see further away from this off my brain and anger. It's I couldn't see. I was blinded by rage. I guess this is why they call it blinded by rage, blinded by hate. And then all my brain would do, because I felt really bad. My brain is programmed when I feel bad, I know a way to feel good right away, and then it went to drugs. Right? Vin R, yes, I go to meetings. Of course, this is called, look at this, Antoine Anonymous. So it's like an unofficial 12-step meeting. It's not 12-step. It's just, I thought Antoine Anonymous was funny. But yeah, Vin R, I get, 12 days, I get 4 years clean. I'm going to get a medallion there at my home group, and that's going to be cool. Sheila of Kenny, aka Tina. Man, I've noticed my coaching is getting better again. The longer I'm sober, I love my job. When I use, I love the passion. So when I use it, I love the passion for my job. So I'm happy to love, and passion is coming back. That's awesome. It's like, I feel when we're trying to when we're really trying to fighting the obsession, right? When we're fighting the obsession, it's kind of hard to enjoy anything. It's impossible for me. I could not enjoy life at all when I was obsessed about doing drugs or not do drugs, right? I can't. So every time I lost the obsession, it wasn't my choice. This is where the higher power comes into play. I don't know. For me, the obsession would always go away once I surrendered and I accepted that my life became unmanageable. I was powerless over drugs. Went on my knees, literally, most of the time, cry, and then just give up. Right? Okay, I'm done. I give up in a sense that I gave up the war on trying to control my drug use. Meaning that time to go to rehab, buddy. Time to capitulate. White flag. Okay, drugs won. I'm done. Need help. And that would go to rehab. And then that would help me. That would help me. So I was never able to do it by myself, honestly. Ever. I always needed other recovering addicts, support. Shout out to my mom. And now that I have a son, I realized how mean I was, and just how scared my mom probably was when I was just out there doing crazy stuff. I can't even conceive it. We don't understand. I thought, oh, I'm doing this just to myself, right? Everything was revolving around me. If I'm destroying my health and my life, it's my business, my life. Very selfish, right? Self-centered. It's like addiction. People say it's like a self-centered disease or whatever, because everything revolves around you and how you feel, your drugs, what people are doing to you, how you can get what you want, all that type of stuff, right? I was very self-centered. Most addicts are very self-centered, all of them. Because if you put the way you feel over your relationships, and if you put your drug use first, you're an addict first of all, and also you're selfish. If you're putting yourself first, you're selfish. So, Vin R, I've done AA before. I actually love the big book. I wish NA used the big book, honestly, because it's just a great book. It's crazy how that book saved millions of lives, right? When medicine couldn't. But I do NA. NA is what I do, because NA is more global. Because the thing is, technically, if you go literally, you could go to AA and smoke weed, because they don't even mention weed at all in the big book. But that's not, if you would ask your higher power, is that the right thing to do? Smoke weed and go to AA? It's not, right? So NA is just abstinence from all drugs. But AA is also because, AA is great, because there's a lot more years of recovery There's people in there with like 30 years of recovery. There's girls with like 25 years, guys with 10 years. It's really cool. And it's the same program. You just replace the word alcohol with drugs and alcohol. That's the only difference between the two steps, the two meetings. And the book. In NA, we use this basic text, which is like our own version of the big book. That's kind of more updated with today's stuff. But honestly, the A book is good. Like in rehab, we would use that book all the time. It's a great book. And you have to understand that before that book existed, people were dying in the 30s from alcohol. People were dying from alcohol. If Bill and Bob, they are the guys who pretty much wrote the book, if Bill and Bob were born today, it would be called Fentanyl Anonymous. Because the opioid crisis is killing everyone. But like in the 30s, the opioid crisis was the alcohol crisis. Alcohol killed everyone. That's why they made AA back then. Because alcohol was the main thing ruining society and killing people's lives, and they couldn't find a solution until Bill and Bob started helping other alcoholics, and then they realized themselves they were staying sober from helping other people. They're like, oh shit, let's put that into a book. And then this is kind of how, I'm kind of butchered it, but this is kind of how like AA started. Yeah, Tina, so a lot of AA people smoke weed, but not all. Yeah, you know you can, right? You know yourself you can. I would just, honestly, if I would go to AA and people would smoke weed, I would just try to see, like, are they, like, displaying addict behavior? And I would just stay away from these people. You know how it is, like, like, if you go to a meeting and you start hanging out with the people who are kind of, like, half in, half out, it's not a good thing. You'll end up, like, half in, half out. Because we always end up being, like, kind of like the people we hang out with, right? So they always say, like, if you want to be a champion, you hang out with champions. Probably the same thing with, like, if you want to be in, if you want to have a strong recovery, you got to hang out with people who have strong recoveries and look at what they do. You can't hang out with your old friends or that are doing drugs or like the white key tag people who are just like, they all hang out together after the meetings and some of them relapse together. That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. I never did that. The fellowship is good. I like the fellowship. You go to do a coffee and stuff after, you hang out after the meetings, you talk with other recovering addicts. It's great. But it's like, if I would go hang out with it, I would never, I felt it. Yeah, these guys are like, it's like, it's kind of, their recovery is kind of like not super solid. I'll be nice to them. I'll talk to them. I'm not going to go hang out with them outside of the meetings. And Chris Banks, I wouldn't be able to consider myself clean if I was still smoking. Yeah, you wouldn't be clean if you were still smoking. But sober, you could be sober, because sober is just alcohol, I think. I think sober is a term AA used because it's for alcohol. Kind of weird to have their own little word for being clean. I'm sober. But being clean is like all substances. Some people say like, yeah, I'm California clean, man. And they're like clean from like coke. They're clean from like opiates, but they smoke weed. California clean, man. That's not clean. There's like there's all kinds of clean. Like I don't know. I saw a thing somewhere. There's like a Texas clean is one thing. California clean is another thing. Let's just be clean, guys. Just for today, can we go to bed clean? We can, with all the resources we have, and the Antoine Anonymous meeting tonight, and the meetings tomorrow somewhere else. We can be clean. Yeah. I've always thought sober means all. That's why there's Cali sober. Yeah, I think maybe you're right. I'm not sure. I thought sober was a word, because like in NA we don't use sober. We use clean, right? Sober maybe is like from AA, but I'm not sure. Yeah, California clean is kind of funny, right? Yeah, you can't be clean if you're fucking blasted all day on like wake and bake. No, not clean. I mean, it's the lesser of two evils, I guess. It's either that or you die from an overdose. Sure. Oh, it's new to you? I'm California clean, man. The guy's a hippie, smokes weed. The thing is, I've done a couple meetings where like I did mushrooms or whatever, and then I went to a meeting and I just kind of like, oh, you know what? I'll go to the meetings. I just won't get a white key tag. I just won't get the 30-day key tag. I just won't raise my hand when there's a clean time. But when I was reading the it's a program of abstinence from all drugs, I felt like such a fucking imposter. You know, I would go to meetings high sometimes. I mean, I would get some of the solution. You know, like I would be inspired a little bit, but I would feel like such a imposter. At some point, I just couldn't do it. I just would stop to go, and then things would get worse and go to rehab, which is where I would end up anyway. So, yeah. All right, before I go, how long is this going on now? Oh, 46 minutes. Pretty good. Yeah, before I go, anybody else have a question regarding how they feel with their recovery, addiction? And then I'm going to shut this down and maybe go try that chocolate. Who knows? Anybody have a burning desire, like they say at the meetings? Everybody's done talking. Anybody have a burning desire to share? Tina, burning desire. Vlad, Vin R, Chris Banks, Darren. Where's Kale? There was a guy named Kale earlier. And this person named IYYXX. And then, Samson. Samson came in. I worked in substance abuse, deal with alcohol and drugs. Never understood why low dose naltrexone was never implemented in treatment of addiction. Naltrexone. What's the other name for that? Is it not the Narcan stuff like that? What's it called? Suboxone? Not Suboxone. Naltrexone. I don't even know what that is. Can you show us the A app with the Zoom meeting? Okay, well, one sec. This is the one I use. It says NA. See the bottom one there? It's kind of blurry because that's how my camera is set up. But yeah. If you go look, and then if you open it, oh Jesus, it's not working. That's like, if you open it, it kind of looks like that, and then it turns to this. That's the one I use. All right, Tina, go to bed. Another day clean under your belt. Tomorrow is another day. Let's do tomorrow the same as today, clean. One person is saying, I can't say your name. I wear 667 then. I have one, but you've inspired me a lot, like a superhero figure. Superhero figure? What would be my name? Addict man. He's an addict in recovery. He used to do a lot of drugs. That was his superpower. And then he almost died and came back to life. All right, well, Samson, no Narcan. Yeah, I know. I don't know about the naltrexone. I don't have time right now to talk about it. But maybe next Friday you could come by and then we can talk about it. How's that, Samson? 9:30 p.m. next week, Friday. Oh, alcoholism cravings. Hey, maybe it works. I mean, I think any medication that doesn't get you high, that helps you get clean and sober, yeah, sure, take it. Right? All right. See you later. Stay clean. Just for today.